In this video, we're diving into the topic of foods that are increasing cancer risk. You'll be surprised by some of the common items on our list, and we'll explain why they might be harmful. Make sure to watch until the end to get all the crucial details so you can make informed choices about your diet. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more insightful content. Processed meats, such as bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and elite meats, are staples in diets worldwide, but their impact on health is significant, particularly in relation to cancer risk. These meats undergo preservation processes including smoking, curing, salting, or the addition of chemical preservatives. These methods are used to enhance flavor and extend shelf life, but bring with them health risks that are important to understand. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is part of the World Health Organization, classifies processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen. This classification means that there is strong evidence that processed meats cause cancer. Specifically, the consumption of processed meats is linked to an increased risk of colorectal cancer. Research shows that eating 50 grams of processed meat daily, approximately the size of one hot dog, increases the risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. The primary concern with processed meats lies in the compounds that form during their processing, nitrates and nitrites, which are often used as preservatives in processed meats, can convert into nitrosyl compounds in the body. These compounds are associated with cancer because they cause damage to the cells lining the colon, leading to increased cell proliferation as the body attempts to repair the damage, which can increase cancer risk. Additionally, the cooking of processed meats at high temperatures, such as frying or grilling, can lead to the formation of carcinogenic chemicals like polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons and heterocyclic amines. Both chemicals have been found to cause changes in DNA that may increase the risk of cancer. Given these risks, it is advised that individuals limit their intake of processed meats to reduce their cancer risk. Replacing processed meats with healthier protein sources, such as fish, poultry, beans, or nuts, is a positive step toward a healthier diet and reduced risk of cancer. Red meat, which includes beef, pork, and lamb, has been a significant part of human diets for centuries. However, its consumption is now scrutinized due to its association with various cancers, including colorectal, pancreatic, and prostate cancer. The evidence linking red meat to cancer led the International Agency for Research on Cancer to classify it as a probable carcinogen, or Group 2A carcinogen, indicating that there is evidence that its consumption can cause cancer in humans. The connection between red meat and increased cancer risk primarily relates to the molecules found within the meat and the methods used to cook it. Red meat contains heme iron, the form of iron found in animal foods. Heme iron has been shown to promote the formation of nitrosyl compounds, potent carcinogens in the body, particularly affecting the colon. These compounds can damage the lining of the colon, leading to increased cell proliferation as the body tries to repair the damage, which can increase the risk of cancer. Furthermore, cooking red meat at high temperatures, such as grilling or pan frying, leads to the production of heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These substances form when meat is cooked at high temperatures, and they are known to be mutagenic, meaning they can cause changes in DNA that may increase the risk of cancer. Another aspect to consider is the portion size and frequency of consumption. Studies have found that the risk does not just depend on eating red meat, but also on the amount and how often it is eaten. Regular consumption of large quantities of red meat increases exposure to these harmful compounds and thus the potential risk of developing cancer. Alcohol is consumed worldwide, enjoyed in various cultural and social settings. However, its impact on health, particularly its link to cancer, is significant and often underestimated. Alcohol consumption is a major risk factor for several types of cancer, including cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, liver, breast, and colon. The International Agency for Research on Cancer categorizes alcohol as a Group 1 carcinogen, clearly indicating that alcohol causes cancer. The relationship between alcohol and increased cancer risk is primarily due to the metabolization of ethanol, alcohol's active ingredient, into acetaldehyde by the liver. Acetaldehyde is a toxic chemical and a probable human carcinogen. It can damage DNA and prevent the body from repairing the damage, which increases the risk of cancer. The more alcohol consumed, the higher the level of acetaldehyde, and consequently, the greater the risk of developing cancer. Additionally, alcohol consumption can lead to oxidative stress, which results in the production of free radicals. These free radicals can cause further DNA damage that contributes to the cancer formation process. Alcohol also impairs the body's ability to break down and absorb a variety of nutrients that may be protective against cancer, including vitamin A, nutrients of the B complex, vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, and carotenoids. The impact of alcohol on hormone levels also plays a crucial role, especially in breast cancer. Alcohol can increase levels of estrogen and other hormones associated with hormone receptor positive breast cancer. Studies have shown that women who consume 3 alcoholic drinks per week have a 15% higher risk of breast cancer, and experts estimate that the risk of breast cancer goes up another 10% for each additional drink women regularly have each day. Furthermore, the synergy between alcohol and other risk factors heightens the cancer risk. For instance, the combination of smoking and drinking multiplies the risk of cancers of the mouth, throat, and esophagus far more than the effect of either drinking or smoking alone. Sugary drinks and snacks are consumed in large quantities worldwide, particularly in the form of sodas, energy drinks, candies, and desserts. These high-sugar foods are not only a major driver of obesity, but also associated with an increased risk of developing cancer, especially breast cancer. Studies have highlighted how the excessive consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages can lead to obesity, which itself is a well-known risk factor for several types of cancer, including endometrial, breast, prostate, and colon cancers. The mechanism by which sugary drinks and snacks contribute to cancer risk is multifaceted. Firstly, high intake of sugary products leads to an increase in body fat. Adipose tissue, especially when excessive, functions not merely as a fat storage site, but also as an active endocrine organ that secretes estrogen and inflammation-related compounds. These substances can promote tumor growth. Additionally, obesity often leads to chronic low-level inflammation, which over time can cause DNA damage that leads to cancer. Moreover, the high glycemic load from sugary foods causes rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels. Insulin and insulin-like growth factor have been shown to promote the development of some cancers. These spikes in insulin also can lead to insulin resistance, another pathway through which cancer risk is increased. Chronic high blood sugar and insulin resistance are characteristic features of type 2 diabetes, which itself has been linked to a higher risk of liver, pancreas, endometrium, colon, breast, and bladder cancers. Given these connections, it is recommended to minimize the consumption of sugary drinks and snacks as part of a healthy dietary pattern, replacing these high sugar items with healthier alternatives such as water, unsweetened teas, fruits, and nuts can contribute to better overall health and lower the risk of cancer. Public health campaigns and nutritional guidelines continually advocate for reduced consumption of sugar-laden beverages and snacks to combat the rising rates of obesity and associated diseases, including cancer. Refined carbohydrates found in white bread, most pastries, and other processed grains are a major part of many diets, but come with significant health concerns, including an increased risk of cancer. These foods have undergone extensive processing, removing fiber and nutrients, which results in a product that can rapidly spike blood sugar levels. This effect is measured by the glycemic index, and foods high on this index have been linked to an increased risk of various cancers, particularly colorectal cancer. The process through which refined carbohydrates can elevate cancer risk is tied to their impact on blood glucose and insulin levels. High intake of these carbs leads to frequent spikes in blood sugar, which in turn causes the body to release more insulin and insulin-like growth factors. Insulin and IGF-1 are known to promote cell proliferation and inhibit cell death, mechanisms that can potentially lead to cancer development when they occur excessively. Additionally, high levels of insulin and IGF-1 can lead to chronic inflammation, a condition associated with an increased risk of cancer. Chronic inflammation contributes to the creation of an environment conducive to DNA damage and mutation, further enhancing cancer risk. Moreover, the lack of fiber in refined carbohydrates affects digestive health, potentially leading to an unhealthy gut microbiome, which can also play a role in cancer development. Epidemiological studies have consistently shown that diets high in refined carbohydrates are associated with an increased risk of several types of cancer, including breast cancer and pancreatic cancer. These studies suggest that individuals who consume large amounts of refined carbs are at a higher risk compared to those who consume whole grains, which are lower on the glycemic index and richer in nutrients and fiber. To mitigate these risks, dietary guidelines recommend increasing the intake of whole grains while reducing the consumption of refined carbohydrates. Whole grains contain more fiber, which not only helps to regulate blood sugar levels, but also contributes to a healthier gut microbiome, reducing the overall cancer risk. Replacing refined carbohydrates with whole grains, vegetables, and legumes in meals is a proactive step towards a healthier diet and reduced cancer risk. Salt-preserved foods, such as pickles, salted fish, and cured meats, are traditional delicacies in many cultures around the world. However, the high salt content in these foods is associated with an increased risk of cancer, particularly stomach cancer. The preservation process involving salt, especially in high concentrations, can lead to the formation of carcinogenic substances that pose significant health risks when consumed regularly. Salt acts as a preservative by drawing moisture out of food, which inhibits the growth of bacteria. While this is effective for food preservation, the high levels of salt can damage the lining of the stomach. This damage leads to a chronic inflammatory response as the body attempts to repair the injured cells. Chronic inflammation is a known risk factor for the development of cancer, particularly in the gastric lining. Furthermore, salt-preserved foods often contain nitrites and nitrates, which are added to enhance color and flavor. Under certain conditions, these compounds can be converted into N-nitroso compounds, which are potent carcinogens. These N-nitroso compounds can interact with the gastric mucosa, causing further damage and increasing the risk of gastric cancer. Epidemiological studies have consistently shown a strong correlation between the consumption of salt-preserved foods and an increased incidence of stomach cancer, particularly in regions where these foods are a staple part of the diet. The risk is particularly elevated in individuals who consume these types of foods frequently and in large quantities. To reduce the risk associated with salt-preserved foods, it is recommended to limit their consumption and opt for fresh or frozen alternatives. Incorporating a diet rich in fruits and vegetables can also help counteract the effects of a high-salt diet. These foods are high in dietary fiber, antioxidants, and other nutrients, which can help protect against stomach cancer and promote overall gastrointestinal health. Charred meats, often resulting from cooking methods like grilling, barbecuing, or pan frying at high temperatures, are popular for their distinct flavor and texture. However, these cooking practices are linked to an increased risk of cancer, particularly colorectal and stomach cancers. The risk arises from the formation of harmful chemicals such as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons and heterocyclic amines during the cooking process. When meat is cooked at the high temperatures, especially over an open flame, fats from the meat drip onto the heat source, producing smoke. This smoke contains PAHs that can adhere to the surface of the meat. Additionally, HCAs are formed when amino acids and creatine, a substance found in muscle meat, react at high temperatures. Both PAAs and HCAs are recognized as mutagenic, that is, they can cause changes in DNA that may increase the risk of cancer. The digestive process exposes the body's internal tissues to these carcinogens, where they can damage the lining of the colon, leading to increased cellular proliferation as the body attempts to repair the damage. This abnormal proliferation of cells can be a precursor to cancerous growths. Studies have indicated that regular consumption of heavily charred meats can significantly raise the risk of colorectal cancer. To mitigate these risks, it is advisable to modify cooking methods. Techniques such as pre-cooking meat in the microwave for a few minutes before grilling, continuously turning meat over a low flame, and avoiding direct exposure of meat to open flames can help reduce the formation of harmful carcinogens. Additionally, marinating meats before grilling can not only enhance flavor, but also has been shown to reduce the formation of HCAs and PAHs. Artificial sweeteners, commonly used as sugar substitutes in many foods and beverages, have been a topic of debate regarding their safety and potential links to cancer. These substances, including aspartame, saccharin, and sucralose, are popular for their ability to provide sweetness without the added calories associated with sugar, making them attractive options for weight management and diabetic diets. However, concerns about their long-term health impacts, particularly their potential role in cancer development, have persisted over the years. Studies on artificial sweeteners and cancer risk have produced mixed results, leading to ongoing debates within the scientific community. Initial studies on saccharin led to its placement on the U.S. National Toxicology Program's list of carcinogens, although it was later delisted based on further research indicating a species-specific mechanism not applicable to humans. Aspartame, another widely used artificial sweetener, was scrutinized when early animal studies suggested it might cause brain tumors. However, subsequent studies, including those by major health agencies like the Food and Drug Administration and the European Food Safety Authority, have found no conclusive evidence linking aspartame and other approved artificial sweeteners to cancer in humans at typical consumption levels. Despite these reassurances, some researchers continue to explore potential mechanisms by which artificial sweeteners could influence cancer risk. One area of concern is their effect on the gut microbiome. Some studies suggest that artificial sweeteners can alter the composition and function of gut bacteria, potentially leading to metabolic changes that could affect cancer risk. Another consideration is that excessive consumption of artificial sweeteners might lead to dysregulation of insulin and glucose levels, although more research is needed to establish a definitive link to cancer. Given the conflicting evidence and ongoing research, it is advisable for individuals to consume artificial sweeteners in moderation. While they remain a useful tool for reducing caloric intake and managing blood sugar levels, diversifying one's diet to include natural sources of sweetness like fruits can provide benefits beyond mere calorie control. These natural sources also offer vitamins, minerals, and fibers that contribute to overall health and may help reduce cancer risk. Trans fats, also known as trans fatty acids, are a type of unsaturated fat that occur in small amounts naturally in some meat and dairy products, but are mainly produced industrially from vegetable fats for use in margarine, snack food, packaged baked goods, and frying fast food. Due to their solid state at room temperature and extended shelf life, trans fats have been widely used in the food industry. However, their consumption is linked to an increased risk of several chronic diseases, including heart disease and cancer. Trans fats are implicated in cancer risk primarily through their ability to increase inflammation, a known risk factor for several types of cancer. Inflammation leads to oxidative stress and free radical damage that can mutate DNA and promote tumor growth. Additionally, trans fats can influence cell membrane properties and fluidity, which can affect the function of membrane-bound proteins and receptors, including those involved in cell growth and death pathways. Several studies have linked high intake of trans fats to an increased risk of breast cancer and colon cancer. These studies suggest that trans fats promote the development and progression of cancer by altering the metabolism of fats and affecting the regulation of genes involved in cancer progression. Consumers are advised to check food labels for trans fats, often listed as partially hydrogenated oils, and minimize their intake by choosing products that do not contain these fats. Shifting dietary patterns towards whole, unprocessed foods that naturally contain low levels of trans fats can also help reduce overall cancer risk. Genetically modified foods have been a topic of public debate and scientific scrutiny due to concerns about their safety and potential impacts on health, including cancer risk. GMOs are organisms whose genetic material has been artificially manipulated through genetic engineering techniques. The modifications aim to enhance certain traits such as increased resistance to pests or improved nutritional content. While these advancements offer significant agricultural benefits, the long-term health effects, particularly concerning cancer, remain a subject of ongoing research and debate. The primary concern regarding GMOs and cancer relates to the use of genetically modified crops that are resistant to herbicides. This trait allows farmers to use certain chemicals, such as glyphosate, more liberally to control weeds without harming the crops. Glyphosate has been classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer as probably carcinogenic to humans. Studies have suggested that exposure to glyphosate can increase the risk of certain types of cancer, such as non-Hodgkin lymphoma. However, the risk is primarily associated with occupational exposure, such as through agricultural work, rather than through the consumption of GMO foods themselves. Another aspect of the debate centers on the genetic modifications that could potentially introduce or enhance allergens or toxicants in food, although there is currently no conclusive evidence to suggest that GMO foods increase cancer risk through these mechanisms. Most scientific studies and regulatory bodies, including the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the American Medical Association, and the World Health Organization, agree that GMOs on the market are as safe as their non-GMO counterparts in terms of human health, including cancer risk. For consumers concerned about GMOs and cancer risk, one approach is to choose organic foods, which are produced without the use of GMOs. Additionally, in many countries, laws require foods containing GMOs to be labeled, providing consumers with the choice to avoid these products if they have concerns. Thanks for watching our video on foods that increase cancer risk. If you found this information useful, be sure to click on the video popping up on your screen right now for more health insights. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos.